Is your sunscreen safe? And how can you be sure? Check out this video to find out more.
Let's go.
Hi and welcome. I'm Coach Tonya with Criticalbench, and in this video I'm going to be talking about sunscreen and just how safe is your sunscreen. Now I have got, I just need, sorry, I checked my battery pack to make sure I turned it on. Okay, here, testing. Before I get into talking about your sunscreen and why it may not be as safe as you think it is, I want you to check out that pinned comment below. This is a free report, 5 ways that you can start to boost your immune system for optimal health. So please click that link. You can instantly access and download that free report right now. All right, so when we talk about sunscreen, really hot topic. Sun safety is a hot topic. Now, I live in Florida, so I am very sun aware. Now, I love the sun, I love the beach. I'm a mermaid, ask anybody that knows me. If you're not sure where I am, you will never fail to find me at the beach because I'm always there. And being fair-skinned and red hair, so I grew up, you know, having to be slathered in something or covered up. And I mean, my whole life, all I wanted to do was tan. And I've had my fair share of really stupid, unnecessary sunburns that were just, that's all on me. But over the years, and in my late teens, I started to become a lot more sun safe and started taking better care of myself when I was outside, especially because I'd like to be out for long days. So I was in the sun for a long time. Now, sunscreens are great because the idea is that, hey, you can put this stuff on, and as long as you're mindful about reapplying it through the course of your day, depending how long you're going to be outside, you know, you can prevent sunburns. And we know that sunburns, repeated sunburns, can be correlated or connected to a higher risk of skin cancer. So we certainly want to avoid that. There's another side of that argument that because we are so sun aware, so sun safe, that sunscreens are leading to a higher level of vitamin D deficiency in people. So there's a lot of conversations going around about sun and sunscreen and how much sun do we need, how much should we get, what times of the day should we get it. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, you need to be very aware of your sun exposure, how much time you're going to be spending in the sun, and what are you going to do to protect yourself from unnecessary sunburns during that time frame. So choosing a sunscreen is really important. And again, I live in Florida. I go through tons of it. I spend so much money on sunscreen, it's ridiculous. Now, when the FDA considered sunscreen safety back in the day, it actually grandfathered in the active ingredients, and this was in the late 70s. Again, I got lots of notes because I can't remember all this stuff. So that was in the late 70s, and there was very little review done about or with respect to the potential risk of any of these ingredients. What we did know at the time, or what was known at the time, was that these ingredients did block those harmful rays penetrating the skin surface and causing sunburns. So not a lot was known about the ingredients, and the FDA even went as far as to say this, and this is a direct quote from their site: Nearly all of these sunscreen active ingredients have limited or no data characterizing their absorption. Yikes! So in 2019 and 2020, the FDA published 2 studies showing that these following ingredients are systemically absorbed into the body after only a single use. So this stuff goes beyond the surface of the skin, and it's absorbed into, you know, the blood, your cells, and things like that. And these ingredients are, and I'm going to do my best to say them properly. I have practiced them, but that doesn't mean they're going to come out of my mouth properly right now. Oxybenzone, which is probably one of the worst offenders, okay, as far as not really safe to have on you. But oxybenzone, octinoxate, octisalate, octocrylene, homosalate, and avobenzone. So what we know now is that these ingredients can be detected on the skin and showed up in a person's blood weeks after a single application. So that's a little concerning, especially if, you know, going back to limited or no data characterizing their absorption. So what is the latent effect of these chemicals being absorbed into the skin, past the skin barrier, and showing up in the blood? What's the impact? What's the influence of that? So we can be certain that these ingredients are circulating in the bloodstream, and the FDA also has indicated that they don't yet have enough information to determine whether or not they're causing harm, and if so, to what extent. Okay, so do we go ahead and continue using the sunscreens that have these potentially very harmful ingredients that we don't know what the long-term effect is, or do we just, limit our sun exposure, cover up on hot days? Like, what is the answer? That's well, it's not really a difficult choice, but it can cause anybody to feel like, well, what do I do? Stay inside on a beautiful sunny day, only go outside for an hour, only go outside in the morning or in the evening? Well, that's no fun. Wear long sleeves and long pants at the beach, that's no fun. Or take a chance at slathering the stuff on that we don't know what the long-term effects are of it being absorbed into the blood. Well, let's find out a little bit more. In 2019, the FDA stated that PABA was a greater risk than it was a benefit. Now, some of you do remember PABA. Probably, I'm going to say 20 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. I might be wrong, but I remember that PABA all of a sudden, like, it was everywhere. It was on the news. You couldn't go anywhere and not read about PABA and how bad it was. And very quickly, PABA was being removed from sunscreens and other products that it was found in. And I think that you would be probably hard pressed to find a sunscreen today that has PABA in it. And if you do, don't use that one. Okay, let's just agree to not use that one. We'll just put it back on the shelf, or take it to the person at the counter and say, take it away. Okay. So the FDA has since requested that additional safety data from sunscreens containing the oxybenzone, avobenzone, homosalate, octosalate, and octocrylene be done. They want to collect more data, so more testing is being done to determine the effectiveness versus potential risk. Because again, what do we want? What do we want out of this conversation? Do we want to be left with no options, or do we want to know exactly what, if any, long-term effects there may be from using a sunscreen that has any of these products in it? What does that look like 5, 10, 20 years down the road? And is it something that is a high enough risk that we need to now go, okay, so these should not be in sunscreens, or they should be in certain quantities to avoid that possible terrible outcome? Or is the long-term effect so minimal or so undetectable that it actually, the benefit of using a sunscreen containing these things is better than not using a sunscreen with these because these are, in fact, these are very effective ingredients. They do help protect you from sunburn. So more testing's being done. That's the good news. When we're going to get those results, there's probably, it's probably in flow right now. There's probably some out there. There's probably more being done. So it's something you want to always be checking into and looking at, because you want to be able to do your own homework and make better choices, because there are choices. There's options available to you. So there are two ingredients that the FDA currently recognizes as safe, and that's titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. Now, both of these work, but they're not quite as effective as the other ones. So if you're going to be spending a whole day out in the sun or at the beach, you're going to want to have a lot of these on hand, and you're going to want to reapply all the time. All the time. Whether you go in the water or not, it's something you're going to have to be very aware and very militant in applying frequently throughout your day. Okay, these two ingredients are typically found in your mineral-based sunscreen. So if you ever go to like a Whole Foods or any other whole food, health food store or market, those places tend to have an abundance of like organic, mineral, safer sunscreens. So you're going to probably find those sunscreens contain these ingredients more than the other ones do, okay? So at the end of the day, what do? I got a couple notes here. Here's some suggestions I'm going to make. First of all, start reading what is in your sunscreen, and if anything, do your best to avoid sunscreen that has the oxybenzone in it, because from what I've read, this one is that's a bad guy. Oxybenzone is a bad guy. We do not want oxybenzone in our sunscreen, and it is possible to find sunscreens that don't have it. So do your homework, pick them up, turn them around, read the label. If it has oxybenzone, put it back. Please, just please put it back, okay? Second, do other forms of sunscreen protection for yourself. So sunglasses, because you can burn the whites of your eyes. Not that you put sunscreen on your eyes, but this all just, we're creating a look. We're creating a look, right? So beach hats, sunscreens, you know, you can buy like light but full sleeve cover-ups that you can wear, or even like the beach wraps that you can give yourself some time out from the sun without having to leave the sun and without covering up to the point that you're completely miserable in all of that heat. A lot of swim companies now have fantastic swimsuit options. Lots for little kids. I saw a sweet one, actually, I think it was last weekend at the beach. A little girl had like a mermaid one on, so it was a one-piece bathing suit, and it was like this sparkly kind of green, opalescent-y with purples and pinks, and it had long sleeves on it, and it was adorable. Probably wouldn't look as adorable on me, but I did like it. But I have seen the full-length, one-piece, full-sleeve swimsuits for women. Myself, I tend to wear a lot of, we call them, when I lived in New Zealand, rash guards, but I wear the swim tops, sometimes short sleeve, sometimes long sleeve, depending on how long my day is at the beach, because I am so sun sensitive, and I'm also, you know, when I'm at the beach, I'm there for the long haul. I'm not going anywhere, not till the sun goes down. So I do need to be smart about my day at the beach. And there's a lot of cool, funky swimsuits out there that you get a couple tops. I mean, you know, fine, you want to put on your bikini top and enjoy that, but maybe for an hour or two you put on the long sleeve one just to give your skin a bit of a break from the sun, and then without having to slather on a sunscreen that maybe has potentially long-term harmful effects to you. And just be mindful of your exposure. It's okay, you know, going in between, I think the most intense hours are between 11 and 2. That's when the sun's rays are at its most intense. That might be a good time to like duck in under an umbrella, or go into like a little outdoor eating area that's covered for your lunch, or just to take a bit of a break and just give yourself a bit of a break from some of that sun intensity before going back out and enjoying it again. And also just during the day, like, take some shade breaks. Just take on and off, take shade breaks, have a couple drinks of water, and just keep yourself well hydrated and protected from the sun. I did make a note of the fact that there are just full mineral sunscreens. They don't, you know, honestly, as much as I love that idea, they really aren't as effective. So for me, when I look at it, I want to be protected. I mean, I do want some sun. I think we do need vitamin D, and some of the best way to get vitamin D is just through our skin, absorbing sun's rays through our skin. However, again, I burn so easily that I have to be really conscious of that. And while I love the idea of a mineral sunscreen that doesn't have any of these awful things in it, I would rather take other precautions, the hat, the long sleeves, and use a sunscreen that has really protective ingredients to keep me from getting sunburned. And that is all of my best wisdom about sunscreen. So ultimately, it's you do have options. You definitely have options. I was at I think it was Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, and I was actually talking to somebody in the skincare section, and they were very knowledgeable on sunscreens. Now that may have to do with the fact, again, that I'm in Florida. It's a sunshine state, so it probably bodes well for these places to have people on staff that can talk about sunscreens, what's in them, what's effective, what's not, how effective they are or are not. So it doesn't hurt to do some research online for yourself. It doesn't hurt to go into some of these places and talk to people. Talk to the pharmacists. Pharmacists are also, that's a great resource in terms of talking to someone who knows and understands some of those big long names that are hard to say that can be in the skin products that you're putting on, and particularly sunscreen. And really get very much in the habit of reading the ingredients on your sunscreens. We want to avoid oxybenzone. I don't think you'll find PABA, but if you do, you definitely, I'm strongly put it back. Do not use PABA, because that is one that the FDA has recognized is not a good thing to be putting on your skin. So let's just avoid that altogether. There's still a lot of testing going on to determine long-term effects of these other ingredients I mentioned. Oxybenzone being a pretty, what seems to be the bad guy of the worst offender of the group. So we want to avoid that as much as possible. If we're going to switch, or if you're choosing and you're going to switch to a more natural or more mineral base that has the titanium dioxide and the zinc oxide, remember, reapplication, and bring some fun things to put on at the beach. A big floppy hat, some long sleeves, and just enjoy your day, but keep yourself safe. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope that helped all of you sun worshippers out there, and thinking about what you're going to do to protect yourself when you're spending your days at the beach or just outdoors on a beautiful sunny day. If you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to click that notification bell and the subscription button so you never miss any of our great video content. And before you go, make sure you check out that pinned comment below. That's a free report you can have instantly, 5 ways that you can boost your immune system and immune health. I'm Coach Tonya. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon. We'll be right back.